What's up everyone, it's Sean here, and today I got my hands on the re-release of the Air Max 1 Anniversary in the white University Red colorway. I figured, why not make a short comparison video between this and the original drop that happened back in March. This re-release pair retailed for the same price as the originals, so they were $140 in the US or $190 here in Canada. Here in Toronto, these were available pretty much at all your local boutiques, as well as in some pretty significant numbers online on Nike.ca. Needless to say, while the original back in March was available in very limited quantities, these ones on the other hand were pretty much a general release. Taking a quick look at the box, you guys can see it's the exact same box that the other pair came in, with this orange top and gray striped pattern on the bottom. The one difference that this does have is the style code, so instead of 908375100, this one is 908375103. The color code, the name, everything else is exactly the same, and aside from this, the only other difference is that this pair doesn't come with the dust bag and the booklet that the March pair did. Here in my hands I have the original release from March and today's re-release, and comparing them side by side, I'll just be completely honest with you, the differences are so minor and they look basically identical to one another. So there are some very minor differences which I will point out, but for the most part they look very much the same. And I'll say that the build quality and the materials used are identical from one to the other. One of the first differences that I found is in the mudguard of the shoe. So the mudguard is this red suede portion that covers the lateral side and toe box of the shoe. So taking a look at the original release from March, you can see that this red mudguard is perfectly straight at the top. So while the midsole itself actually dips down and curves towards the bottom, the mudguard on this one actually stays straight and leveled. When you compare this to the mudguard from today's release, you can see that this mudguard actually dips down and follows the same pattern and angle of the midsole. So it's not going to be perfectly straight, but instead it's going to dip slightly down towards the bottom of the shoe. And also, if you take a look at this toe box area, the mudguard does appear to be a little bit thicker right here, and this toe box does slant a little bit more gradually, and it is a bit more flat. And when you compare this to the toe box from today's release, you can see that this mudguard is not quite as high, and the toe box does have a little bit of that cliff toe shape that was notorious on the poorly made Air Max 1s from a few years back. Another difference that I spotted is on the eyelets of the shoe. So the eyelets is this red portion where the laces go through at the very top. So on the original release, the red was a little bit more vibrant and a little bit lighter. And when you compare that to the eyelets from today's release, it is noticeably more dull and a little bit darker overall. Another difference I spotted is the shape of the midsole, especially towards the front of the shoe. Taking a look at the March pair, there's some peaks and valleys action going on here. So you can see the midsole kind of dips down here before coming back up, and then it dips back down again and then comes back up again. When you compare this to the pair from today, it's a little bit more flat, so this isn't really something that's significant. It really could be something that's just a manufacturing flaw, but it's something that I noticed between the two pairs. Last but not least, the last difference I spotted is in the finishing of the midsole. So on the March pair, it sort of has a bit more of a matte effect to it, but when you compare it to the pair from today, this definitely is more glossy and more shiny. It might be hard to capture on camera, but there was a noticeable difference when I compare them side by side. Sizing wise, I'd say they're identical, so I'd recommend true to size if you want a comfortable, looser fit, or a half size down if you want a more snug fit. Overall, as I mentioned earlier, these are so similar to one another that if you own the March pair already, I'd say there's no point in buying the pair from today. And if you manage to grab a pair from today, there's really no point to go and pay resale for the pair from March. If you guys are looking for a more in-depth review, including the history of this Air Max 1 OG colorway, I will link my original review from March down in the description down below. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to give me that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button as well. And you can also follow me on my Instagram as well, and you can find me there at SGO8. So until next time, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in my next review.